Hey, good evening. Says we're live here. One of Patdees' last minute spontaneous go live moments here. So just wanted to talk about. I had a Zoom meeting yesterday with eBay. I had signed up for back in May to go up to an eBay Upfront um, meeting in New Jersey. And unfortunately, because of COVID-19, um, it got moved back, and then it eventually turned into basically a virtual um, meeting. Hey, Nate, what's up? How are you? Um, are you getting ready for fourth quarter? Hi, Marie. Now people are starting to roll, and I appreciate it. Um, is anybody that hasn't gone on live here interested in coming in and talking about uh, their eBay store? I like to maybe do a little something different tonight. Maybe we could feature some eBay stores. And if anyone's in the chat here that would like to come on and feature their eBay store, I'd be interested in doing that. And, maybe we could help boost your store. But I appreciate it. Let me go real quick through and say hi. Again, this is one of my spontaneous. I planned this like 20 minutes ago. So real quick, let me say hi, Disney Nate. Marie, thank you for stopping. I appreciate it. Vintage Memories. Hey, Justin, how are you, sir? Yellow Brick Road Reselling. Hey, Pat, thank you. Casual Flipper, thank you. Hey, Myra, how are you? Perlini, how are you? Basically, I just want to talk about my meeting I had with eBay yesterday. And like I said, if anyone's interested in, and there's no pressure, that would want to come in and share their eBay store and come. You're welcome here. Just say it, and then I could invite you. And if not, that's all right. But we were supposed to have this upfront meeting that I talked about in May. Then it got rescheduled, and it wound up being a virtual one. So how is it? Hey, how are you? Thank you. It wound up being a virtual. But I did get the swag that I got from eBay. I'll show you that real quick. They did send me this little bag. I got this little bag from them. I got a $20 gift card for eBay from them. I got this bag from them. They sent me a ring light. This was all part of the money. I don't even think I paid a little hand sanitizer thing. And this bundle. And I didn't even open this up. It feels like it's shipping supplies. So I'll open it up in front of you here. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Tape. Some poly bags. Oh, some thank you cards. Those are nice because I haven't used those, so those are nice. I got some thank you cards. I got a free ring light because I was supposed to attend the meeting that they did. Another roll of tape and some sample boxes, some 6x4x4 boxes. That's what I got. So it was funny because I joked with them and said, "Hey, look, I got your box," and the marketing company that sent this stuff spent $30 to send this box of stuff to me. So I was like, wow. They probably could have shipped that for $15, to do that and stuff like that. So thanks for everyone for joining me. If you guys could hit the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Basically, the setup was it started last night at 6 o'clock, and it ran till 9 o'clock. And the first two people were the executive presentations were Marnie Levin and Harry Temkin. And those were the people that started out. It was interesting to learn some things that, I've been selling on eBay since 1998. This was the postcard. And I had never actually done something like this to go on. It was interesting to learn because it was supposed to be for our area for New York, and yeah, they did use Zoom. Exactly. They did use Zoom. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks for everyone for being here. It basically they talked about the New York, and the meeting was supposed to be in New Jersey, and they talked about the New York and the New Jersey market. And I was surprised to learn how many sellers there really are in New York and New Jersey. Hey, never too old. Thank you for stopping. Hi, April. And I'm ignoring you a second because I'm glancing down at my notes. I'm not trying to ignore you. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. It's hard you're not hearing no feedback. So, okay. In New York, how many sellers do you really, I was surprised in the state of New York, there's 500,000 sellers, eBay resellers. I was shocked. They do $2.5 billion a year in New York State. And New Jersey, there's 240,000 sellers doing about 1.7 billion a year. Now, out of those two states, what do you guys in the chat? What do you think is the top selling category in? Type in the chat if you guys can. What do you think is the top selling category? If anybody wants to come on here and chit chat with us, I could put the link in there. This is what I'll do. Copy the clipboard. There's the StreamYard link, and I'd be willing. We could feature your store if you want to, but if you want to stop in, please have your camera on. Otherwise, you won't be able to come in. And I see some people are saying electronics, clothes, media, home, food, media, computers, auto parts, electronics, automotive, clothes. I did put the link there if anyone's interested. I know Recordkrate, I've seen you on a couple shows doing an auction if you're interested in coming in. But the number one selling category, believe it or not, and I was surprised, and it's not something I sell, but I have considered selling before, is auto parts, like Thrift Daddy said, auto parts. And it's the number one selling category in New York, in New Jersey. And I was really surprised. I mean, maybe there's bigger companies, on there that are already in that business. And it makes it easy for them to sell, and they just sell it on eBay for them. It makes it easy. But yeah, auto parts. Clothing was in the top 5 in those two states, which I was surprised. In New Jersey, the top 3 was sports cards. If anyone knows who follows me, I buy and sell sports cards, and sports cards were in there. So again, I put if anyone's interested. Oh. Now we have someone in the back, but you're gonna have to turn your camera towards you, otherwise I can't let you in. So if you do that, that's fine. Someone's coming in the back. Otherwise, you're not going to get in. So no one could see you, and only I could see. So they left. So I'm not looking, guys, to play games here tonight. If you want to have fun, talk eBay. I'm taking this here. Recordkrate. I think he's here. There we go. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing good. Thank you for stopping.
Yeah, this is the first time we've been.
Yeah, we've interacted in the chat, but not on the actual screen together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
I've seen your auctions and stuff like that. And
Well,
I
thank
had
you.
somebody else coming in, but I think they were just trying to be a clown. And
Uh-oh.
yeah, and I'm not in the mood for that. So this is, we're here to talk business and share our experience with people, not make it a negative. But I mean,
Sure.
why don't you tell everyone who you are and what your channel is about, and I'll highlight you.
Oh, thank you. So I have brick and mortar record stores. I have a chain of record stores in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, and I am because of pandemic, my stores are suffering, and I jumped on eBay. I jumped on every platform I possibly can just to save my business during this time. And so I have 1,200 items on eBay. I'm constantly listing. I'm doing buy it now sells on YouTube of records, and I do some morning shows, Coffee and Vinyl, where we just hang out and talk about records and drink coffee, and that's what I'm doing. I'm to get through this pandemic, and I'm so looking forward to getting on the other side. But until then, I met a lot of wonderful people, and a lot of people love vinyl, love music, and it's just great to talk about that. And so that's what I'm doing, Pat.
Now, tell everybody what your name is.
My name is Adam. Adam
Adam, yeah.
Kirk.
And is recordkrate.com an actual website, or is that just
It
your name?
is.
Oh, okay.
That's my website, recordkrate.com. And there I have links to YouTube, and I have links to other social media, and just trying to make it happen. I see a lot of people here I know, like Myra, Elaine, and Pearl, and
Yeah.
Love Hollis. And
Yeah, a lot of the crowd that follows, resellers and stuff seems to kind of
yeah,
follow some of the same people.
yeah.
Uh, no, you can ask any question you want. I just don't want someone coming in the background and looking to turn this into an X-rated show because you get that's. Have you seen that, Adam, yet?
I've heard.
Yeah, but I'm smart enough to not fall for the bait, and I've been doing this long enough. Uh, um, Now, how long have you been doing YouTube?
I I think I started my YouTube account in 1999, but I did very little. It wasn't until a couple years ago that I had a need to communicate with my customers the records I was going to be putting out every Saturday morning. So I was making flip videos. I didn't create the flip video, but I definitely was one of the first people that would put them up on YouTube. And since then, tons of record stores are doing it now. Two
Yeah.
of my stores participate in Record Store Day, which is a national organization of independent record stores. And but YouTube has been very serious for me in the last 2 years, and I would say last year, probably in the fall, I started doing more things with YouTube others and just announce records that I have for sale. And now just hang out and chat and have a blast, and helps me stay focused on life.
Yeah, that's really what, I signed up for YouTube back 5 years ago as a viewer, and you had to sign up if you wanted to leave comments. But as far as creating content, I'm like, how I own a restaurant back then. What content would I create? Didn't realize there was basically small mom and pop, in a sense, I want to call it, creating content and networking
Mhm.
until 2 years ago. And then I got involved in doing YouTube, and I'm really glad I did, because I've met a lot of wonderful people and still learning. For me, this was like you're going through now with COVID-19 and your business shutdown. I had my business shut down because I was a cancer patient, and things didn't line up at the same time. So this was a reset for me on wanting to take a different direction and kind of reset in life. And what I'm finding is, and talking about this Zoom meeting with eBay, a lot of things are changing as far as business models.
Mhm.
People are no longer going to fly 6 hours for a 1 hour business meeting. They're just going to do it on Zoom. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And if people aren't quick to adapt, just like me, before, I didn't take eBay that serious before, because it was more of a hobby. I liked to buy and sell baseball cards or toys, or or make a little side money for a vacation, or there was times that I didn't sell for 6-7 months, and then all of a sudden, like right before Christmas, I would sell maybe $4,000 worth of stuff, make $1,000, and have some extra Christmas money. Now, it's and networking here on YouTube. I've met a lot of people that sell on there and realize there's a tremendous opportunity to make a good living, in other words, and a salary doing eBay.
Yeah. So Dragon asked me how long have I been on eBay. I opened up my eBay account in 1999 also. I guess 99 was a wonderful year for doing a lot of things. And March 1st, I had 8 things on eBay for sale. And like I said, today I have over 1,200 items for sale on eBay.
Now, are you just dealing in media?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Dawn and Mary, right?
I do. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Mary.
Yep.
Cheers.
I like to highlight the people, because to be honest, it's not all shows do this, highlight the chat, but really without you guys coming in and joining us in the chat, the show wouldn't be, it'd be crickets. So it's really nice to see people, and if I miss anybody, or if I haven't, don't take it personal. I try to highlight several people during the show, so I appreciate everyone's here to listen. Sure. And Adam, I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and join us this evening. And with me, I think I only paid, I think it was $20 actually. That's all I paid for this. I was supposed to, it was more of a time issue that I was going to drive there, and lots of Josh that used to be, he's not doing YouTube at the level he was before, because he found out reselling was much tougher than he thought, and he basically took a corporate job with Amazon and now is doing that. But I was going to meet him there back in May, and it was going to be like a 2.5-hour trip for me. So it was going to be like a 5-hour and then 3 hours there. And now, I mean, we did this virtual, and it's constantly about networking and learning. I was shocked to learn that there's 740,000 subscribers in 2 states. Our subscribers, I mean sellers. And
wow.
Hi, T. How are you? Thank you for stopping. There's a good question for you, Adam.
Tons. So there's a quick story, Pat. Today on my website, I announced a pre-order for a Sturgill Simpson record that's coming out in December, and I sold 19 before 2 o'clock this morning. Word spread around the internet just like this, and the next thing I know, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And so it's great. But there's been records released like crazy during the pandemic. Jason Isbell had a wonderful release and sold tens of thousands of records even during the pandemic. What's my store's name? It's Recordkrate. And if you go to my website, there's a link to my eBay store.
I'm going to put it in there, www.recordkrate.com, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, let me put that in there.
Yeah.
You guys, it didn't go blue, so I'm not, a lot of times when you type it in, but if you guys are watching this on the replay and you're interested in checking out Adam's store, and that's what a lot of people are doing too. I honestly like my YouTube channel is Patdees, but what happened was when I first started, it was Patdees 72, and 72 was based on the year I was born, and the premise, because I talk about the market. The rule of 72, I kept with 72, and I liked baseball, and I pictured a shirt with 72. But to keep it easy, I basically went back to Patdees. But the problem is I can't buy Patdees.com because it's already taken. It's some sort of restaurant. So I still have Patdees 72, and I do have links on there for I think my eBay store and YouTube related stuff too. So if you guys get a chance, please check out Adam, and you have to hyperlink it. Check out Adam, and go say hello over to him there, and support the small business. Yeah. Now, how many years have you been doing? I didn't realize that you have physical locations.
I have 3 stores. One's in Raleigh, one's in Wake Forest, and one is in Selma. The one on 7 in Selma is on Interstate 95. It's much
Now,
better than it was.
are they open right now?
Every store is open, but I'm doing appointment shopping. I think today I had 3 appointments all day long, and a lot of my customers just don't have a job. And that's
Right.
the other cool thing about my website. I'm reaching out to people, and some people nothing changed with their job. Some people were working from home before the pandemic, and now some people are working from home. Thank you, Myra. I appreciate you doing that. Hey, Gary, how are you? And so, yeah, they're open. I'm at a different store every day though, Pat, and so that means there's only one store open per day. Tomorrow I'll
Oh,
be in Wake
okay.
Forest.
I mean, that
March
burden
1st.
of having to pay that rent must be overwhelming.
I spoke to my landlord today. Um,
Yeah.
I know. In March 1st, I had 8 employees, and today I don't have any at all. And I can still walk
Oh,
around.
yeah. No, you didn't apply for any of the PPE
No,
loans to
no,
no.
I don't trust it. I didn't trust it to begin with, or not. And I'm hearing through the community of other businesses that are having problems because those payments are due, and some of them have just lost their business, and they're still left with having to pay back that money.
Yeah, I don't think they did a good job of probably communicating it. They wanted to kind of roll it out to stop a lot of the things that were going on. But from what
Mhm.
I've understand, what I've seen recently is that a lot of those loans are just going to be forgiven. They're not going to have to be paid back. They're going to be grants, and I'm hoping soon that they pass, because people don't realize, everything looks good on TV as far as what's going on, but there's a lot of small businesses that are suffering. That I used to be in the restaurant business. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in it right now because you can't survive at 25% capacity. I'm from
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, and it's just a lot of people. Just like people are paycheck to paycheck. Well, a lot of small businesses are like that. They don't have a month's worth of money sitting in a bank account to, ride this out. And it's gonna affect. I really think the next 4 years are going to be tough, as far as, because it's going to really take some time to bounce back out of this. And the economy right now is probably being propped up by a lot of artificial money that's been pumped in. That you
Mhm.
just got a lot of small businesses that, sadly to say, are just not going to make it.
Right. And
You know.
I knew that part of the application process, it could potentially be forgiven, and I just couldn't take that chance. I didn't want to take that chance.
Right.
I just did not want to take that. And our governor of North Carolina even announced something this week of another opportunity, um, to prevent people from being evicted from their residencies if they rent.
Yeah,
And
we had that too. I thought it was extended to the end of the year. Unfortunately, you got a lot of people that residential are kind of taking advantage of the situation, and they're not paying their rent, and the landlords are being squeezed. They still got to pay the mortgage. I know myself, because I'm a landlord. I have one rental property, and I had a tenant move out on me because their kids were in school, and they were up in Canada, and for a couple months there, I had nobody renting the place, and then I had to
Mhm.
fix it up and get it. Now, luckily, I have someone in there renting it now, but we went a couple months, and I tell you, they were good tenants because they were
Mhm.
there for 8 years. So, you know,
Yeah, my rentals are paid for. My property's paid for. I don't own my buildings that I'm in, and so I'm fortunate in that respect. And I'm fortunate that I'm so much better than a lot of businesses. One of my customers had a restaurant; he closed.
right.
Um, a lot of restaurants are having a very difficult time even now, and understand what you mean with 25% capacity or 35 or 50% capacity. That's a lot. I guess it's good for the people who have a food truck. Um,
Well, yeah, what you're realizing is smaller right now is better.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go over real quick, and we'll get back in. And if anyone wants to ask Adam or myself any questions, don't be afraid to type in the chat. But some of the things that I learned about up at the upfront was, basically about what they're selling. And last quarter they had done 27.1 billion, with 17 billion of that being mobile. They're going to be changing the vacation settings. It's going to be called time away service. And it's in the selling, and you're going to be able to time away, which will change, basically not penalize the seller on the shipping ability. Item Pacifics, they're working on that with they called it left-hand navigation, and they're making that easier, that you can change. But updating those item specifics are going to make it more that your stuff is going to be found. You're going to be able to add users and give them permissions, that even if you just want them to print a label, go into your account. Um, oh, wow.
That's sad. Yeah, I saw that. That's really sad.
Yeah. It is, especially when people have worked so hard so long. One of the things, I don't know if everyone's noticed, that when you're on eBay, the item specifics, you're going to be able to click a reminder not to remind you no more. One of the things they're going to do is they rolled out, and it's going to be rolled out in the first quarter. But you know how you can take a picture and take out the background?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able in the first quarter to do that on a desktop, where now you can only do it on a mobile. And the eBay's been around 25 years. One of the things they've just rolled out recently, and this was a neat a thing, that they're going to use a third-party system to on watches that are over $2,000 and on sneakers that are over $100 to authenticate them. And you'll send them to a third-party authentication, and they don't come back to the seller. So if the person who gets them changes their mind and says that, oh, they're not, it doesn't matter, they're going to eBay's taking responsibility for that, they'll go back to the person that authenticated it. And if they change their mind or want their money back, it's too bad. eBay says, no, you're not going to be able to, get a pair of sneakers in 2 weeks and say, oh, these aren't authentic, or this watch is that's it. Once it's sent to that third party person, that's it. It's the buyers. You're not going to be able to change your mind. I actually had a problem in myself, is that I had 4 items this year that were called defects. And the guy, we went into a private Zoom room. Yeah, can we start from the beginning? And we talked about my account, because what happened recently with my account is I was able to sell $30,000 worth of stuff, and I was cut down to $3,000. And sneakers over $100 and watches over $2,000. So one of the guys, his name is Mark, actually we did a private Zoom meeting off of what we were doing, and he talked about it, and we went over the 4 items, and 2 of the items, basically, I went to get them and they were out of stock, and one I sent the wrong Bible, and one I had a sign I couldn't find, and I gave the money back. And so they're hopefully going to help me get back. I said, I've been selling this long on eBay, to cut me back from 30K to 3K seems kind of unfair. So there is somebody there. It was nice. It was a nice to talk to someone in eBay, and felt like they cared and want to help the resellers. I know a lot of times it seems like nobody cares. You call, you don't get answers back. And this was a nice Zoom meeting with them, and it was nice to network. Actually, one of my friends, he said hi to me, and I'm like, I know I recognize his name and his face, and I met him actually at the Nashville meetup when we went down to with Scott, the bearded picker, and his name was Dave, and he was actually in one of the Zoom meetings with me, and he lives up our way. So, and they talked about, have you ever attended a local reseller meetup?
I have not. I mean, I've
Yeah,
gotten together with.
I'm interested in doing that again in the future, just because
Yeah.
I want I want to grow. I see the opportunity that exists in doing eBay and the money that can be made. That I want to learn and just grow and the thing is, when like I said before, it was a hobby for me. Now it's more of a business, and I got to step up my game and just give better customer service, I guess, and not that pressure sometimes of that one day is, sometimes it's tough because you sell something on a Friday night, and then if your post office is closed Saturday and Sunday in a rural town, and you gotta get that out Monday, because in a sense you're already a day or two behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how is eBay doing for you?
So I have a special badge on my eBay site. All of my, I don't have any auctions, but all my buy it now sales or items listed has a little badge that says Record Store Day. And so this is something that we as Record Store Day was able to negotiate with eBay. And it lets people know who's buying records that we're serious about what we're doing, that we are serious record people, and we are representing and presenting ourselves in that fashion. We have a lot of rules that we follow for Record Store Day, and those rules carry over to eBay. And so I think that's been a big help for me. I noticed after I got my badge, it took over a year before I got that badge that I was able to my sales started increasing some. And so I have trickles. And I don't speak to other people who sell records on eBay, so I don't always know how it works for them and trends and what times of the month records sell better than others and things like that. I mean, but I don't mind parking a $500 record and let it sit there. I don't mind that at all. And yeah, I'm
a record fan, but I tell you, I have, I know more about cards, and I've sold records before in the past. I didn't realize, just like cards, really, you grab a record and you're like, this is fine, and you don't realize that, just like with cards, with the edging and the little bit of damage on the edge makes a difference of how much they're worth. Westside Gary's here, and he's friends with Tom Cruise. That he's out in I think it's San Francisco area out in California, and he buys and sells records, and he's done the auctions like you too. And sometimes I'm surprised to see how some things they're in great shape, how they go. Some things go so cheap, and then I'm surprised that sometimes to see some things be worth a lot. So not having to as a fan and just enjoying playing them on Record Player, I like them, but you become more picky as you go to, because you find in a lot of storage units a lot of records sometimes, and a lot of them have damage at the end. Now, does that affect, in your opinion? I mean, you're in this business. Does that affect the value of the record itself?
Absolutely. It's all about condition and desirability. I mean, I'm one of the stores. We got probably a dozen stores in the area. And I'm one of the stores that people come to when they want to buy a record that sounds good. I'm the type of person that I have a wonderful ear for listening to a record to distinguish a lot of things like the dynamics. I can generally tell what phase of the pressing it has taken place based on the sound. And so a lot of people come to me just because of that. And I professionally clean them on a wet vacuum machine. I listen to a lot of them. And I've learned just to look for certain things. I can show you an example if you like.
Sure. I'm going to put you on full screen here because I'm going to grab something too.
So this is a fairly common record. You know, it was pressed in the 60s, but this was unique in the fact that it has the poster, and the poster is almost impossible to find. And because it has the poster, it's not a $20 record, but it's a $400 record. And this is sitting on eBay. And when the right person sees it, they don't care. They're just going to buy it. And so that's really neat. I was touching it earlier. I don't see it now, but I had a looking at. Oh well. And so,
Adam, let me ask you something. If you don't want to talk about it on here, that's fine. But are you making a different decision now going forward, whether to have a store or have as many?
Absolutely. Yeah. I do have leases, and I do have an obligation. I'm at the point, do I do a GoFundMe page, or do I just close one of the brick and mortars?
Right.
And so,
and I think a lot of people are in your same shoes, that there's going to be some tough decisions to be made that unfortunately aren't your fault. It's just with everything that's happened, that it's just changing many businesses.
Exactly. And my landlord, I have 3 different landlords. My landlord in Wake Forest is wonderful. He reached out to me and says, "Hey," and it was really good.
You're near Wake Forest?
Wake Forest, North Carolina, not the college.
No, I have a friend that lives in Wake Forest.
Oh, I probably know him. We probably hang out.
Well, their last name is Knitter.
Oh yeah, I know some knitters, but
she Tom and Joanne Knitter, and
cool.
They used to live in our area, and good friends, people that stood up in my wedding actually lived there for a couple years, because when we came up from Florida, we stopped in Wake Forest to see them. And
cool.
Yeah, and some of their kids lived down there in Wake Forest, and people I went to school with lived down there. So it's funny when I had heard that, about Wake Forest. I mean, here's for example, here's a record, when you buy storage units, you run into a lot of records.
Sure,
and,
sure.
Here's an example. This is Jim Neighbors. I just grabbed one. Now you look at it. It's not ripped or nothing like that. It's got a plastic case. It's the record. Look, I mean, the record doesn't look like it has any scratches. And then I get with someone that honestly, I sold Tom some records on an auction earlier in the year, cheap. I mean, right. $25, I think, for 20 of them. And after I realized what a professional he was and the records he has, I felt like, wow, what's he going to do? Did he just buy them for me just to support me? And I listen. I don't collect them to, in other words, wow, this record. I like to listen to certain records. So there's my son who's in the chat. He bought me last Christmas. He bought me Kenny Rogers, because when I grew up, I liked Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and stuff like that. And I like stuff like this for nostalgic, reasons. I remember as a teenager having the Thriller album. I got it somewhere, and if you remember Michael Jackson, he had all the lyrics on the inside. It would open up, and his drawings, stuff like that. So it was neat to read, the lyrics and a little bit of who wrote it with him and who produced it. That was nice to kind of learn about that.
Yeah. And so you have a Jim Neighbors record. Jim Neighbor records are fairly common. They're not very desirable, but you rarely see a Gomer Pyle record.
There you go.
Yeah.
This was in a storage unit.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
Now let me ask you: is there a website? And it's funny because like I said, I didn't plan this show tonight. I went spontaneous and I put it out there, and Adam jumped on. is the and I've never, I've seen this first time we're live together. Is there a website to learn like how many records were made out there? Like, did they make this Jim Neighbors? In other words, did they make 2 million of these? And
Well, there's things you learn with any trade or any craft. You can look at the dead wax and see what the stamper numbers are, and then kind of multiply it by that. And sometimes it's printed on the jacket how many records were pressed. If it was limited to a certain 5,000 that were blue and 200 that were green, and things like that. But you think about like Fleetwood Mac rumors, and if you go to the Wikipedia page, it says something like 25 million or something crazy like that.
right.
And so it's really neat. This record, I found the record I was going to show earlier. I have no idea how many of these were made. It's a heavy metal band called Exhumed.
Hold that up again, bud.
Sure. Exhumed is the band. It's metal, all guts, no glory. But here's the cool thing about this record. It's very limited. And it's in the shape of a saw.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. So
that's where, again, networking here. You run into let's say you run into a storage unit where you find 5 boxes of records.
mm-hmm.
There's where you can reach out to instead of basically giving away or how to price it, you can reach out to a guy like you and say, "Hey, Adam, this is what I got." And maybe somebody that's looking for that one record. That's cool. That's what I like a lot about the artwork of a lot of these record covers, and the uniqueness that honestly you don't get in having that music on your phone.
Yeah, exactly. So Disney Nate was asking about Disney records.
He's my son, just to be clear.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's my older son that lives like 45 minutes away.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So children's records it's difficult to find them that are in beautiful condition because those records were not taken care of at all. And I actually try to seek to find as many children's records as I possibly can, because they're typically good sellers because they want something they had when they were a kid. But probably maybe 2 out of 10 are okay or beautiful. But there's so many of them just like trashed. I mean, ran over with an automobile or something like that.
Right.
So Disney records can be super desirable, but not every one. I mean, like It's a Small World. I don't think I could give that record away. But if I found Mickey Mouse Disco, yeah, I could probably get $8 or $10 for that. And then, it's just cool. I mean, people.
Now, let me ask you, we're talking about records here. Are you involved in cassettes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just look over my shoulder. That's just
my. Okay.
That's a lot of the new factory sealed cassettes that survived over the years, and so I'm very proud of those, and I really seek those out.
I will still pick up certain 80s cassettes from time to time, like at the Salvation Army for 50 cents. And a lot of times I could sell them for $8. And
absolutely. Cassettes are fun. You have to listen to them though. And because
I was a big, remember Columbia House? Where you'd buy like 5, for 7 cents. And then you have to buy so many. It was funny because I was going through my desk drawer down in the basement. I have still certificates to redeem. Obviously, Columbia House went out of business, but to redeem for free cassettes that I never show those again, Adam. Yeah.
It's always a great day when you find Grateful Dead cassettes, folks. Let me tell you that, especially when you find the ones that were recorded on blanks and people just traded those. I've gotten those in before too. Yeah. Cassettes.
Now, did you see the question that Myra asked earlier? I want to make sure. I wasn't sure what she meant by that.
Am I planning to offer music lessons again? Yes, I am Myra, Myra Elaine. So years and years and years I've taught guitar and I've taught piano, and I used to teach at the university here before records became so important in my life. And one of my students got married, had children. One of the children is 6 years old, and she called me up. She says, "Will you teach my son guitar?" And I was like, "Of course I will." And so I have one student right now, and I'll probably start advertising to get more students, you know, to teach guitar and piano, and just more revenue coming in. So yeah, Myra, Elaine, yes.
I'm actually gonna in the description. It's not in there now, but I'm gonna add and I'm gonna do this while we're live because I'm gonna put Adam's YouTube channel in the description. And if you guys want to check out his link down below, and subscribe to him, how many subscribers do you have right now?
580, I think.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna put anytime someone's on my channel, I always put their link in so that again, it's part of networking and thanking you for taking the time to come on. So if you guys see that, you'll see in the link below. Now my wife is this is my wife. She's on bed rest. She had surgery. Yeah, my wife said they brought me a record player, but I don't get to use. Yeah, I don't use it as much as I would like. When I first started doing YouTube, I was actually right now. You know what? My number one video the last 2 days playing the Doobie Brothers record, but I don't make no money from it. I get 50 views a day from it, but I make no money from it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was some sort of revenue sharing thing that we could do with some you can split it half and half, but they don't allow it on them. And it looks like
pay $30 a month and play all the music I want to play. I want to show this very unique rare record.
Sure.
It's the United States Army Band, but that's just happens to be. But here's the unique thing about it. I can barely hold it. It's 16 inches in diameter, and it was made most likely for the military radio stations or on campus or on base radio system.
Wow, I've never seen a record that big.
These things are huge. I mean, I can barely touch the label, so I feel like I can't even hold it properly. And of course, it's not flat, but that's
now.
Not the
what size record is this called then?
16-inch. Someone mentioned in the chat transcription records, and this is most likely that. I had the opportunity one time to buy a 16-inch player, and I was like, I can't do it. So I passed on it.
So this record is 16 inches. Man, that's the size of pizzas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Slice it on up. And so this is an inner sleeve for a 12-inch record.
Yeah.
And if I put it like this is how it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's much bigger. And a lady showed up one day, and she probably had 100 of these. I think it is Texas banded. I really think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't done any research. And I said, I would love to have them all, lady, but I want one. And because before you know it, you can fill a place up in a heartbeat with records. You can be like that crazy guy up in Ohio that's got a warehouse full of records, and he has like 500 of the same Lionel Richie record. And I'm like, you better start selling those.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once some people become collectors or hoarders, I guess, of stuff, they always have the tendency to overdo it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And because I'm affiliated with so many. I'm a reseller, and I sell a lot of new records, and so it's really cool when the record labels send you cool things like this, and Willie Nelson for president, and I just get all sorts of fun stuff in the mail all the time from these record labels. And so a little swag is fun. I am going to continue. I do a Thursday evening, not every Thursday, live show. It's called I Got a Bike, and it's a Pink Floyd discussion. And me and some friends get together and we just visit a Pink Floyd record and just have a big discussion, dive into it. And last night we spent almost an hour talking about this record from Pink Floyd called The Final Cut. This is the cassette, the vinyls over there, and cool things like that. It's a really good record, and we just had a blast talking about it. Gave me an opportunity to listen to it this week, and
I'm amazed right now too how cheap CDs are.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you could find CDs for 50 cents to $1 now, and I mean, a lot of times when I'm out and about, because I like to have them in the car. I mean, I remember back in the day. I mean, and we're not talking too far ago, maybe even 15 years ago, it was nothing to spend $12 to $15 on a CD. Now, it's like that damn cell phone has taken over everything.
It has, but cassettes sound better than your mobile phone. Of course, we can connect our mobile phone Bluetooth to our audio systems, and it can pair with our cars if you have one of those fancy cars. And but cassettes sound better than just listening for your phone speaker and CDs. But for whatever reason, it's been a wonderful year for people bringing me CDs, and I've just been buying them like crazy. And I'll list them on eBay, and occasionally I'll sell a CD on eBay for $50, $80, $110, for one CD.
Wow.
And it's all about being familiar with the music and knowing what people like to listen to and knowing my customers. But now I'm reaching out to the entire world, and there's a different set of ears to.
Now, are you involved in it? You just remind me when you said about the world is probably last year I sold pretty many 8-tracks overseas.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
I mean, I would sell, in other words, 15 at a time for like $25, $30, but I was selling them.
I keep some special 8-tracks in the showcase here, and I'm in Raleigh tonight. And
now, are you at home right now, or are you in one of your stores?
I'm at the Raleigh location.
Okay.
I've been doing these live sales this week called the 20-minute record sale. It's not an auction, it's just a sale. But these are some cool 8-tracks that I have. People who buy 8-tracks, this is Frank Zappa in New York. People who buy 8-tracks are the people who like the bands, and they typically just put it on the shelf and say, hey, man, look what I got. I got a really cool 8-track. This is the Rolling Stones buttons, between the buttons. But this one's got a special, unique shape. And it was like a jet age. Alice Cooper, Easy Action, Big Brother and the Holding Company, and of course Janis Joplin. And these are fun. I don't dare play them, but people who are serious about listening to 8-tracks, they buy them, they restore them before they even play them. Sometimes people take them apart, unthread them, clean the tape, and then they rethread them. Live at the Fillmore East, Zappa. This is Zappa, Frank Zappa in New York, but I probably have Fillmore East on vinyl. Yeah. So I have a CD polisher. I was fortunate enough to get it from a store that closed, and so it's one that's, I don't know, I think it's expensive if I were to buy it today. Of course, I wouldn't buy it, but I got it free.
Now, what exactly does a CD polisher do?
So it's like this device you put on your counter, and it's got the top opens up. It looks similar to a bread maker, and the top opens up, and you put the CD in there, and it's got cavities, canisters, and it's got fluid, and press the button and it pulls the fluid up there. And I don't know.
Would that fill in any of the scratches to make them that it plays?
Yeah, it's just like if you got some scuffs on your car, you take your rubbing compound out, and it makes it look better. And it's kind of the same process of polishing it, removing a layer of it. Yeah. Thank you, Gary. I got tons more cassettes like that. When they come sealed, I keep them all myself. Um, and and those Napa Valley cassette holders are super hard to find, and they go for crazy money on eBay. And I got several throughout the store here because I have a huge selection of cassettes, and occasionally we're actually in the middle of Cassette Store Week, and it's a celebration. Yeah, that's happening internationally now. Of course, I didn't have the extra money to bring in a lot of cassettes, but yeah, we do try to bring in new cassettes from time to time. Don says disc resurfacer. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a favorite band or?
It would change hourly, but I
I know
definitely
pick one.
I definitely enjoy the Pink Floyd, and I enjoy it from the beginning till the end, and that's the reason there's so much talk of that's the reason I do that Pink Floyd discussion called "I Got a Bike,"
Uh-huh.
and cool things like that. But I like it when the record label sends me records to listen to, and they send me CDs to listen to. That's always fun. Yes, Don, Napa Valley. Napa Valley is incredible, folks. If you guys see these for sale, and it's essentially a little cassette organizer. If you see those for sale, pick them up, because if you have a friend that listens to cassettes, they will love you for getting them that. And they're just so neat. They're so 80s. Yeah, they are. I also carry 3-inch records. This is a 3-inch record. This is Jerry Lee Lewis, and it's on the Sun label, which was his original label. And 3-inch records are really fun. I like those a lot.
It was funny. Earlier this year, I was at a Goodwill store, and there was a kid. Like, I was looking at the CDs, and there was a kid touching these blank cassettes. And the mom's like, "Will you put them back? You don't need those." She goes, "We're not going to buy." And I was because the commotion that was going on, I was like, "Oh, what?" So I grabbed them, and I looked, and it was something like they wanted $1 for like four or 6-pack or something like. So I bought them all, and I actually wound up selling them on Amazon. They were all brand new, sealed, and I spent like $3 or $4 for all those, and I sold them for like $30. And I sold them like within a week or two of listing them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If you are a reseller and you find blank cassettes that are factory sealed, if it's got a gold wrapping, grab it immediately. But what we look for is a high bias cassette or the Type 2 cassette, and the metal cassettes. They're the ones that sound best, and that's the one that we like to record with.
These I think were red with like a gray writing.
So those are typically the normal bias or Type 1.
Yeah.
But everybody used those, depending on how much money you had when it was time to buy blankies. But they don't sound as good as the Type 2 or the high bias or the metal cassettes. They just record really well. And I love it when I go to a house and someone says, "These are my records. I want to get rid of them all. I've only played them one time because first time I played them, I recorded them on cassettes. And if you want the cassettes, they're over there." And you're like, "Yes." And so it's just really neat. I bought an estate one time, Pat. I swear there was over 10,000 records. It took me and one employee going up there 3 or 4 times a week for 2 weeks to empty that basement. And when I got there, everything was organized and everything was properly in shelves. I didn't have to clean up or anything like that. It was just a matter of loading them and bringing them. And I'm sure I still got some of those.
Yeah, you see Gary's?
I
Is
have gold
gold wrapped
records.
Sony blanks.
Absolutely, and I'm sure I have some of those right behind me too.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Kevin, Cajun reseller, thank you for stopping in. Oh, there's a ton of lives tonight. I'm surprised. I didn't see any. I'm happy we got 35 people in here watching, and Adam joined me and educating me on the world of. Now, let me ask you: are you selling anything else besides media records, and or have you branched out yet?
Well, I mean, I've always enjoyed mid-century modern. I enjoyed industrial era. Anything Italian that's plastic and glass, I gravitate to. So not so much during the pandemic, but whenever I would go out and about and hit a yard sale or something, if I find something mid-century modern, I will buy it. I've learned to recognize the names and the designers and the manufacturers, and because of that knowledge, I can flip something really quick, with the right keywords, which I'm sure a lot of you people know. Whatever you enjoy and you focus on it is what you tendency to have you have a tendency to buy and resell because it's something that you like.
Right.
And so I like that. But here at the shop, it's mostly anything that's music related. I got vintage T-shirts. I got hi-fi. I got
Oh, T, thank you for the $5 super chat. Awesome talk. Thanks, Pat. And she has a few records.
Oh, cool.
She went and purchased from Brian, Mr. Buys a Lot, a local guy in the Lehigh Valley in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he'll go in and he'll buy out estates and different things. And T, who does the auctions on her channel, Auctions for You, along with Donatella, she was selling records there for a while and got hundreds of them. And
so one morning, T and I had a virtual conversation. I think it was Facebook video, and T had the opportunity to go in my vault. She's one of the few people in the world that has been inside my vault and seen all the cool stuff I have in there.
Oh wow, cool! I didn't. She didn't share that with Patdees.
Yeah, and so I keep that area locked, and that's where I have original pressings of the Beatles that are factory sealed that I'm hoping I'm not going to have to break out and sell. I was kind of holding those on to when Paul McCartney goes beyond the wall, and put those up on eBay.
Now, are there something that just popped in my mind, because one of the things that I like to do videos on my channel is actually go and visit places or visit people. Is there a record museum?
That's a good question.
Casual Flipper, thanks for the cheeseburger. Everyone knows I love cheeseburgers, so thank you.
I understand that if you go down to the Stax Museum, they have records there, and the Johnny Cash Museum and some museums like that, they have records. As far as a record museum, I'm not fully aware of it. There's another YouTuber. Her name is Katie, and she does vintage and vinyl. And she likes having different media pieces. She picked up a diamond disc recently. She actually picked up two, and she's going to mail me one. And I'm going to mail her an acetate, and I'm going to mail her one of those phone booth. It's like a telephone booth where you would go in there like, "Here, dear Ethel, we're having a wonderful Christmas, and we're on the bus now, so I'll see you later." And they would pop it in the mail and send it to them. Or somebody go in there with their guitar like, "Oh, honey, I love my," and it's essentially a telephone booth, but you go in there. It's a little mobile recording studio, and you make your own little record, one of a kind. And
they used to have. They have it's called Donny Park in Allentown, and I remember as a teenager going there, and they had where you could make. It was a cassette, but you could do. It was early, like sort of karaoke, and you could make your own little cassette there. I never had the guts to do it, even though I was part of the chorus growing up, but. I'm going to look into that and see, when I was growing up, unfortunately, my parents they had their priorities screwed up, but music was always free. So my dad wouldn't pay the cable bill a lot of times. So we had one of those big wooden record players with the AM FM, and you could pop in the 8-track, and we used to play that down. And my dad was really into country a lot. I mean, Barbara Mandrell back then, Porter Wagner, and and all that. And so music really. And I wonder if there is a place. Everybody's saying happy birthday to Wes, so happy birthday, Wes, and thanks for stopping in. And if they have a place that maybe has like records and all those different medias that play that type of stuff, right? Old record players, old 8-track, cassette. So I wonder if there is a place like that. And if anybody knows in the chat, I'd be like there. I found out. If anyone knows me, I always joke about buying vintage lunch boxes, and I found out in Georgia there's a museum for vintage lunch boxes. So now I want to find out if there's a vintage museum that would have all these type of let's say some records, 8-tracks, cassettes, and see and the players that are associated with playing those things. I think it'd be a neat place to visit and obviously do a video on.
Yeah, I think Katie may be starting one, but if there was one, I would like to go see it too. I'd like to go see the Lunchbox Museum too. Yeah.
Yeah, I never realized that how many lunch boxes actually were made. I was like, wow, so I just love things like that. And not everybody can go and see these things. And I want to be, I go by Patdees, the traveling picker, and those are the type of videos, those unique videos that I want to do, to go to places. And like if I come through North Carolina one day now, I'm gonna have to stop and see you.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Last year I got to travel around 20 states, and I met up with like 47 different channels and did videos, and it brings it not just sitting in our house or our business, and you kind of really see a real aspect of what people are doing. And even if they're not doing eBay, they're entrepreneurs and doing a business. I'm always interested in that, of how people make a living instead of working sometimes as for big corporations.
Right. Yeah. And I've been very fortunate for the last 6 years that Records has paid my bills, and plus, and kept 3 record stores open, and have a new product every week and new releases, and participating in Record Store Day, and typically Record Store Day is my biggest day of the year, and yeah, didn't have that this year. We had 3 Record Store Day drops, and of course we're going to have Record Store Day Black Friday with the limited stuff. But yeah, I'm one of those people, if it's anything unique and odd and strange, I like to pick it up, and if nothing more, have decorations around the shop. Yes, 3 brick and mortar stores, Westside Gary, absolutely, and it's kicking my butt. I want to quit, but I can't.
Yeah, that's it's tough, because when you love something so much, and honestly, we're not kids, and to reset, it's tough. We, especially something that we enjoy. I just guess you gotta adapt to. Luckily, there are people interested now. I mean, imagine 20 years ago that there wasn't really. I mean, eBay's been around for 25 years, but now it's at least that opportunity exists that you can now take it and go on the internet, and you might find 5 years from now that this was a nice change for you. That the only thing is, when you're selling from your house, that interaction, like having a customer come into your store and talk to you about Pink Floyd for 2 hours when you're not busy having to help other customers, is fun, because you meet local people, and that's nice. And sometimes people just want a place to go to and hang out.
You're exactly right. You build relationships. It becomes a community. It becomes a place to come hang out. People hang out on the patio. People come here for special events, and we're hanging out on the patio. We go and get some dinner, and we'll hang out to midnight, and we'll just make it happen. And I love it when I get an estate, and I'm going to have an estate sale, and I'm going to close at 7, but I'm going to reopen at 10. And there's a line of people going up the sidewalk to come in and get these records. And, it's just stuff like that. And I have faith that we'll get back to something very close and very similar to what we had.
Right, and
Uh,
you may find that you maybe keep one, and you do something that you stay at one, and 50% is walk-in, and 50% is internet commerce, and then you focus a little bit more on your really unique instead of being spread out among three.
mhm.
And I'll tell you, there are a lot of people, even younger generation that loves music and stuff like that. And boy, if you get the right employees involved that can spread the word and get the some of the younger generation into records and cassettes and things like that, I think, and I see, I mean, I watch these auctions with the vintage T-shirts. People love them.
So I always tell people, thank you, Pat, for soloing me. I
Oh
always
no.
tell people, buy these, buy every one you find. I probably got 100 of these myself. Occasionally, I'll just fill all my walls up with them, and people will come in and just like, whoa. And so buy these, folks. Another record that I buy like crazy. And these are stuff you see everywhere. Good evening, Tom. This is stuff you see everywhere in the bins, 50-cent bin, dollar bins. But these are two records that I encourage everyone to buy. And my address is on the website, and ship them to me, folks. I probably have 100 of these and probably 50 of these. And I just love buying these two records. And every chance I get, everyone that comes in the door, even if it looks like it's been ran over by a dump truck, I buy them. Yeah.
Now, is there a reason you're buying those?
It's just one of the most popular records, something you see every time you go out junking. And
This is
most,
my wife here in Pennsylvania in the Quakertown Q Mart. They sell records, cassettes, and the gentleman's had the place probably, honestly, 20 years. Real nice guy. I would say he's probably in his early 60s, but I like a band called Jamiroquai,
I
and
love the record.
yeah, me and my wife went and saw them in Queens like 3 years ago in New York. And they don't come and tour the USA much. And Q-Mart, now you got to keep in mind where I live, it's about close to 2 hours south of me. But I'll go down there and I'll go into his store and I said, hey, I'm looking for this certain CD and he'll order it for me and I'll come back in a month and he'll have it. He doesn't take a deposit or nothing like that. And he'll have it there for me. Yeah.
And Pat, I have quite a few Jamiroquai records. I mean, some of them are 12 inches, but I think I have maybe 2 LPs. I love them. They're just so good. And if you love Jamiroquai, you got to love Massive Attack, Pat. If you haven't discovered Massive Attack,
Sometimes you'll hear something, but you don't know what the group is called. I mean,
yeah.
honestly, I remember like 20 years ago, liking this group, and I'm like, oh my god, their music is so good, and you know what the band was, and I'm like, wow, that's good, that's unique. That guy's like the range on that guy. It was Queen, Freddie Mercury, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like it's still. I joke with, and I'm not joking, but I joke with my wife that when I go, I want her to play music at my. I want her to pick out like 15, 20 songs at my viewing or my funeral to that I. A couple of years when things were going good about 10 years ago for me, we actually, we took a break from working and we actually went and saw some live. I shook hands with James Taylor. I went and saw Maroon 5, Sheryl Crow. About 4 years ago, I got to high five Michael Bublé. And so I've always have a love of music. And this is why the subject appeals to me so much. Because again, growing up, not having the ability to always watch cable, music was free. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a little Sony Walkman back in the day before I had a car. I was riding bicycle to work, and I would be like, I remember getting. I think one of the first cassettes I bought was Duran Duran. Yeah, the Reflex, and
I probably have over 100 Duran Duran vinyl. I got so many different pressings of Duran Duran from so many different countries. I just have so much Duran Duran. I love it.
And that was another one we went and saw was Kenny Loggins. And sad to say, a lot of these singers that we grew up with, I grew up in the 80s. They're 70 years old now. And some of them aren't, ever going to, like my wife likes Phil Collins. I like Peter Gabriel. And a lot of these you never have the opportunity to see anymore. There's not really, I don't really like much new music. I mean, I do listen occasionally to Taylor Swift or some John Mayer, or if it's catchy. I actually, an album that I was looking for, and I found it on eBay when I was like 12, 13 years old. It was called Electric Breakdance, and it's a very hard LP to find, and I found it. And if you go on eBay now, usually it's not on there. Like some you could type in like Kenny Rogers Gambler, you're going to probably find 15 of them.
Yeah.
But the Electric Breakdance, it was one. Let me go get it real quick. You entertain the audience for a minute or two. I'm so excited. I want to show it to you. Give me a minute. I just got to run down my office.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of cool things. Put me on the spot. I love colored vinyl. This is purple, and I just love the look of this. This is from the 80s. In the 80s, we didn't have as much colored vinyl, but today there's probably so many different records that are being pressed that are colored vinyl. This is one that has a felt cover. It's a band called the Bee Gees, and we know Bee Gees from Saturday Night Fever, but the cover is felt. And so it's kind of hard to find these that are not so worn out. And so they're really neat. There's so many cool things. It's going to take me an hour and a half to go through and look at all the comments and check out all the YouTube videos. Adam is 15 away from 600. I am? Get out of here. Oh, that's so cool. Speaking of Bee Gees, Robin Gibb had a solo career. His records aren't as easy to find, and it's just so much cool stuff. But just finding stuff that you like and enjoy, and that's what it's all about.
Speaking of finding, I had it down in my office, and then when the kids got me the record player, I put them all in a box, and I forgot I took it away. Yeah.
The felt is so 70s. It sure is. Absolutely. Yeah. And I love 7-inch records, Pat, and I'm sure a lot of people here do too. And, in finding a 7-inch that has a picture sleeve. I mean, I'm
going to show you real quick. I found a picture of it, though.
Oh, wow. I don't think I know that.
Yeah, Electric Breakdance. Someone has it listed for $25 on eBay right now.
Yeah. Wow, that is awesome. Yeah.
But I tell you, I remember hearing that music when I was 12 years old, and when I got older, I could never remember the record name. And look, I went and found it on eBay.
Yeah.
Hey,
80s picture sleeve 7 inches are so popular now. Dad, you missed the Bee Gees record Adam showed. You did. I'll show it to you, Pat. It's an early Bee Gees record. I think it's from 68 or 69. It's the one that has a felt cover. Do you like the Bee Gees, Pat?
Oh, they were my favorite group.
Yeah, so this is felt. It kind of has a velvet look, but I think officially it is felt. And so it's a record called Odessa. It's a wonderful record, and but it's really neat to find them with the felt cover. Don't they call those 45s anymore? So Texas Bandit, 45 is the RPM. I have some 7-inch records that play at 33. I have some 12-inch records that play at 45. So I just kind of grew up in the punk rock movement where we called them sevens. So
I worked actually at a diner when I was 12 years old as a dishwasher. That's how I got officially in the food business. Uh-huh. And we used to have, it was an old 50s style diner, and we had in the basement one of those jukeboxes where customers at their table could put in a quarter and play the songs of the records. And the guy would come around once a month and empty out the quarters, and he would change like the record. And it was funny because, you know, the way those worked back in the day, you had to wait. Sometimes you could be there half an hour eating and put your quarter in, and you didn't hear your record yet if there was a couple other people that had selected a song already. And because you'd be like, well, when's it going to come up? You know, but it was always fun to sit there and have the ability to kind of, you know, put the quarter in and select a song and pop it on. You know, again, we didn't have these.
I've bought lots of sevens that came out of jukeboxes, and I love it when I find the little tags in the sleeve. And,
oh yeah,
look at here, Duran. What do you know?
There you go, Rio.
And I have stacks and stacks of those. I have some that's never been torn. And if you own a jukebox today, you can get a template offline and you can create your own, and you can print your own.
I have one of those jukebox that were at the booths. I bought it about 15 years ago on eBay. You can roll it and see the different songs on it. I have one of those. Now there's a person I've seen where you're able to connect them to some sort of like you could play, you know, sort of like through your phone and Bluetooth, that you could play it on different. Yeah, I've where like it's a digital. You can hook it up to, you know, select the different songs like you would on your phone. But you know, it's just neat to look at. But I still I actually had it hanging up on the wall in my restaurant, and when we closed, I made sure that I took that with me because that was something personally that I wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone asked if I have any autograph records. I have a ton. I have some that I've gotten autographed myself, so I know that they are real. And some that you go online and you just kind of look around and you're like, yeah, it looks like the same same signature. But yeah, I got lots of autograph records, and they're kind of fun. I usually just put a little sticker on it, put a couple of dollars on it, because I'm not an autograph dealer. And so, but they're fun to see. I got a lot of records where the people who own them put their names on the cover. Apparently that was a thing to do in the 60s. Ruth Jones, you know, or something like that. Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, I think nowadays, and that's changed with a lot of things. You're not able to get up close and personal and have them autograph stuff. Like, you know, nowadays it's about selling backstage passes or you have to get there. I mean, I see that. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I know even with baseball cards, you don't those opportunities, because people exploit it and they want to sell things they're not even really a fan. They're just looking to get the autograph so they can sell it. So those opportunities don't even exist anymore. I mean, I remember years ago, you used to be able to get up and close and personal to things. And now because of security and just because the business model has evolved, there's a lot of people making money off those, you know, backstage passes and those type of things and those photo ops that, I mean, I went and checked. Sadly, my favorite singer when I was a teenager was George Michael. And I wanted to go see him in Philadelphia about 8 years ago, and it was $350. And but now you look at tickets, like we're actually my wife's birthday was last month, and we are going to see Michael Bublé in March. So I bought tickets, and we had tickets this summer to go to Citizen Stadium to see Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Joan Jett, and Poison. And it got canceled because of COVID-19. So what they did is they bumped it back to the summer of 2021. So in March, we're going to have a busy year next year. We're going to see Michael Bublé in Atlantic City in March. And then in the summer, at Citizen Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Phillies play, we're going to go see, my wife loves Def Leppard. And we're going to see Def Leppard and Poison and Motley Crue and Joan Jett. And but man, you look into tickets to try to get, like, I honestly, I think I paid $150 a seat for those. which is okay. I mean, 20 years ago, I would have never paid that. But try to get tickets to go backstage or something like that, or VIP seats. You're talking $600 to $1,000 a seat. I mean, it's crazy. Hey, Jesse, buddy.
All those meet and greet packages, and I mean, they're just so expensive, and the experience. And so,
yeah, so you have to really be selective on who you're gonna. Back in 2006, like when I mentioned that we must have did 3 or 4 concerts that year, and I don't think honestly we spent more than $100 a ticket to, and we were like 10th row we were first row to see James Taylor, we were like 10th row from Kenny Loggins. Sometimes the smaller settings, the ones that only hold like 8,000. Those where you get a little bit, have the opportunity to get a little bit more up close and personal with the artists and stuff like that. But yeah, it's big business anymore. Those opportunities don't exist. I mean, do they even sell their records or cassettes and CDs even at the concerts anymore? I mean, mostly you see it's shirts and $50, $60 just for a T-shirt.
yeah. I mean, we have those large, huge names that are so established. So I guess for me, all along in the 80s and 90s, when I started going, I would just go see the cool bands, the little bands that played at the little clubs and stuff like that. When I was in college, I worked at the radio station, so I pretty much went to any venue around town that I wanted to and saw stuff. But you would see stuff like Sheryl Crow, where there's 20 people there, and then of course now if Sheryl Crow came to Raleigh and played, there would be 2,000 maybe. And
yeah,
so,
I liked her. And she was a backup singer for Michael Jackson, and when she first started.
Yeah, and then whenever so Raleigh's it's not huge, but it's a pretty big city, and a lot of musicians come here and play. So a lot of musicians, they want to go out shopping, they want to go record shopping, and they're just like me and you. They're out there hunting for records, and so I have a lot of people coming here, a lot of known people and known musicians coming here and shop. And we live in the area I live in. We have a lot of musicians, so it's not uncommon for there's a Grammy winner guy that has a studio a few blocks from here, and he likes to come in here, but he's so well known that he likes to schedule private shopping sprees when there's nobody here, and he can shop without somebody bugging him.
Right.
And he's so cool all about that, and so, but it's fun when someone comes and then 2 days later I announce that they came, and then it's like, why didn't you let me know he was here? I really liked that person. I would have come and seen him and hung out with him. And I said, because you would have come and seen him and hung out with him and bugged him, and he wouldn't spend as much money, or something like that.
Right, or he never would come back. That's because you got it's funny. It always seems. I lived in an area that I used to cook at one time for Mario Andretti. And I always found it funny that celebrities that live in your town, seems like the locals don't really bother them. But boy, when someone finds outside of town, those are the ones, oh, where? He used to come into this little diner I was like, and somebody said, oh, do you want to? I'm like, no, I don't want to bother the guy. And he autographed and like the little diner slip that I made his food one time. And then I got involved in running a beer distributor, and a guy's like, and I told him the story. He says, yeah, I'm working at Mario's house. And I said, oh, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm married into the family. I'm like, yeah, okay. And once about a week later, he brought me home 8x10, nice color thing, 2-pack, good luck, and Mario Andretti. And we started to see him, and it was like a nice guy. But they don't want people to be hassling them, or they want to enjoy peace and quiet when they're in places also. So I can understand that when you have a record, and let me tell you, rock stars are a different breed as far as having fans. I mean, the girls screaming and hollering and carrying on. Eddie Murphy used to always joke how the rock stars can get the ladies. And, I can imagine you announcing you have a rock star at your, store. You have 100 people in there, and by the time they leave, you don't even know if you sell anything, and there's stuff thrown all over to the store. So that that comes with its own problems.
Absolutely. I asked many times, would you prefer me to lock the door so you can shop in privacy? And they're like, nah, I don't care. And so, you know, everything's cool, everything's wonderful, and they just like to crate dig, and they do it from town to town when they're traveling. But I'm looking forward to next year having the shows in town and having the festivals, even if it's just a local thingy. Buffalo Picker.
Yeah, Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy does a show on Friday nights at 7:30. So I've actually been on his show already a couple months ago or earlier in the year. If you guys want to check out his channel, he's really a good guy, and check out his channel. So, but Adam, I really do appreciate you taking. I started this off and I changed the title. We didn't talk much about fourth quarter, but it talked a little bit about my Zoom meeting with eBay, and you happily came on and got to learn about your business and stuff like that. And it's a topic I think that we can all relate to because we all enjoy music. So, but I want to thank you for stopping on, and I'm gonna shut down the show here. It's an hour and a half already. And I want to thank everybody that did come in. And if you guys are watching this on the replay and want to check out Adam's channel, the link is in the description below. And reach out to him. And, if you guys are interested in buying records from him or you want any advice, you got something to sell, reach out to him. I'm sure that he can point you in the right direction. So thanks for everybody.
Call me up. We'll just talk about music.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll do this again, Adam. I really appreciate it. So thanks, guys. And,
was great with you and everyone else.
Hang for a second, and I'll say goodbye to you after we shut it down.